Shalom, good evening. I hope all of you are doing well. BBS 409, Paul's letters to the Romans and Galatians. I hope you remember we've changed that title. Really, we did it. Back when we talked about the chronology of Paul's letters, we said Romans is not actually his first letters to be written, but it is, said by the scholars who study history. They suggested Galatians or First Thessalonians were the first Pauline letters to be written. So it is best to talk about Paul's letters to the Galatians and Romans. Although we have this order of the Bible, as I told you, logical order begins with the largest letter of Paul, that is Romans, and then it ends with the smallest letter of Paul, that is Philemon, in our Protestant Bible. So BBS 409, Paul's letters to the Galatians and Romans class. How are you today? This is an evening, so good evening. It is 8:32 p.m. For my time. I hope the same is for you. How was your weekend? My weekend has been good, but busy. As you know, we are coming to the end of the semester, and there are lots of activities that I do for the university. So there is live ministry, teaching, study, reading. So busy, but we thank God, and I hope and I trust that God's grace has been sufficient for all of us. So today, why I am recording myself is for two reasons. One, I really want to thank you for being in this class, BBS 409, Paul's letters to Galatians and Romans. And thank you for journeying with me to study Paul's letters, the two letters. And I'm really grateful to be your guide as we journeyed together. It has been a wonderful journey. It has been enlightening. I loved it. I liked the questions that you raised in the class. I liked how you responded. I'm here to mark your assignments, but I am very sure that you have done it well, where I will be taught many things from reading your assignments. One best way to learn is to read your students' assignments. They will teach you a lot. So that's the wisest way to learn. So the best teacher is the teacher who learns from his students. And I really want to be the best student by reading your assignments and learning from it. And thank you so much for your contribution. If you remember, we've set three purposes for this course, especially BBS 409, Paul's letters to the Galatians. We said why we study Paul's letters, especially the first century letters. We said there are three things that we want to achieve. Let me read them. I have them here. One is to learn about what difficulties the Christian church faced in their early existence. So please remember, the Gospels were not the first to be written. The Gospels talked about Jesus and his ministry. But Paul's letters actually were the first written materials in Christian history that tells you what the Christian church in its early existence looked like and what challenges it faced. So the best place to go to study early church is not the Gospels, but Paul's letters. Good. Point two, why we study Paul's letters or Paul's epistles? It is so that we learn about the life and teachings of Paul himself. So Paul, through reading, for example, Galatians, Philippians, Paul gives us his autobiography, although it is brief, and through reading his letters, we may understand who Paul was, specifically what he believed and what he taught. So it is the best way to study what Paul himself believed and taught, and also what Paul's life looked like. I know in our survey of the letter of Galatians, we have touched on Paul's autobiography, also in a different way. And the third point was this. We want to know what it means to write a letter in ancient world, especially in Greco-Roman world. So I have given you a great deal to read New Testament letters in one sitting. So I hope you remember that, and I hope it was beneficial for all of us. So please continue this practice. So these were the three things that we aimed when we began the semester. And I hope we have achieved, maybe partly, or maybe all of them. But my encouragement for you is what we did in class is very small. It is called provocation. It is to provoke you to read wide. So it is just a tip of the iceberg, as they say. So please dig deep. There are a lot out there, lots of resources for you to read. If you are really a best student or a wise student, you should keep or retain the syllabus, because it has very good reference materials in it, a list of reference materials in the bibliography sections. So use that one as an initial reading guide, and then expand on it. You will really enjoy and will be enriched. And finally, this is what I want to tell you tonight. Please don't miss tomorrow's class. It is going to be our last and final class, where we are going to deal with Romans, Paul's letters to Romans. This letter, Paul's letter to the Romans, is one of the influential letters in the history of Christianity. I know everyone, I would say, everyone who influenced the Christian doctrine, they went to the letter of Romans. So we'll talk about it. Is the book of Romans a doctrinal document, or there is something more? Is it addressing theology, or is it addressing something else plus theology? We'll talk about it. How do people read in history Paul's letter to the Romans, and what are the current debates about how to approach the book, rather the epistle? We'll talk about that. Finally, let me close with this. St. Augustine of Hippo, a very influential 4th century theologian from Africa, Augustine, was converted through reading the book of Romans, or the letter of Romans. You know why in my mouth it comes book? It is because of tradition, but it is a letter. He read Romans chapter 13, verses 13 to 14. So he got converted. And Martin Luther, the German theologian and monk, actually the Augustinian monk, what did he use to confront the Roman Catholic Church doctrine in the 16th century? It was the Epistle of Romans by Paul. So don't miss tomorrow's class. Tomorrow's class is going to be the climax of our class. Please aim to come on time. God bless you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
There is one gospel on which I stand for all eternity. It is my story, my Father's plan. The Son has rescued me.